Johnston, Johnston. I do want to thank you for your service in making good decisions for this county. Good legislation benefits all citizens, and I appreciate the years of service you all have been given to our county. I have learned this week something new, and that is that zoning will not protect the Northfields. You will protect the Northfields. You as a county council and previous councils and past and future councils will protect the Northfields. Zoning doesn't protect anything because it can get changed, can it? From conversations I've had with a few of you already on this subject, my understanding is that some of you see this as a matter of fairness and equity, because there's a lot of small parcels in the Northfields and they may or may not have a zoning right, but you feel that it's equitable to give everybody the opportunity to have a smaller parcel. If you're voting tonight on this matter as a sense of fairness and equity, I am sure that most of the people that have bought land in the Northfields over the past 40 years knew that they were buying great agriculture land that was zoned Ag 20. They bought it at agriculture prices and they bought it to use for agriculture purposes. I would expect that. I know some people have owned land longer than 40 years, but many of them have not. And over the past 40 years, a lot of this land has been subdivided in agriculture divisions without any approval from the county into smaller and smaller parcels, knowing very well what they had, what their property rights are and were. The other justification I've just heard is that nothing's been done the past 10 years to help some of these landowners get equity out of their property. And Annie's talked about some things that happened, but the comment I've heard is nothing's worked. Nothing's been done. I would encourage you to take a thought and say, if nothing's been done, maybe the reason is the county hasn't put enough effort into that. And this is a chance to take some leadership as our elected officials to use the I think, very well written open space code that Steve Farrell chaired, and to actually make it work. And the reason it hasn't worked, I'll disagree with Todd, who just spoke, is you haven't put a receiving zone that's worth anything, that's worth the developer buying a right off the Northfields. There is no effective receiving zone. You have not put the demand side of the supply-demand equation in place. You've got a supply side, you do not have any effective demand side. Heber City is growing rapidly, the county is growing rapidly. Some of that density, those increases, could come from your leadership working with Heber City to put that TDR program in place. And I have done a lot of research this week. There are counties that have preserved thousands and thousands of acres of open space with a very effective TDR programs. All voluntary, all completely voluntary to the landowners. They can use the Ag 20 zone they have and do whatever it allows, or they can sell a very valuable bundle of development rights into the city or into receiving zones in the county. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike. Here in the back. It looks like Heidi, is that you? Kind of dark back there. Sorry.
Heidi Franco, FRANCO, member of the Heber City Council, and very willing to talk about this. I was at the Planning Commission hearing last week, and I did hear what the owners were saying, those that wanted to pass on land to their families, those that wanted to give their children a place to be able to build a home. I totally understand that, and there's no reason why solutions like that couldn't be worked out, but we need to go back to what I worked with Steve Farrell on years ago, okay, where we set up in the master plan this idea of a Wasatch Open Lands Board. And it was just dropped. It didn't happen, right? It just didn't happen at that time, but it's still there. It's still there in your county master plan. It's still there with that ordinance that's just sitting on the books and not being used. And I would suggest that if the pressure is there now where individual property owners need individual solutions, not a one-size-fits-all 10-acre zone solution, but individual families need individual solutions for their property, then the county needs to set up this Wasatch Open Lands Board and help those property owners find those individual solutions where they can be compensated. Or perhaps, they could allow one of their children to build a house there and work out a conservation easement at the same time. I mean, there's so many solutions that are there if we can just work together. And as a member of the Heber City Council, I pledge to work with you on this. We do need to rework perhaps the receiving zones. We perhaps need to think about how we're giving away so much density in this county without, protecting what we really love and being able to leverage that granting of density into helping protect what we love. I don't think anyone in this valley doesn't love the Northfields. And granted, I haven't paid for it. I just enjoyed it all of my life. Seriously, I have. And I would do anything I could to protect it, including pushing for a bond, okay, including working with the county on the Wasatch Open Lands Board that we could put into place. I just think that, there's so many good options here. It doesn't need to be an R10 zoning that's going to solve all of the issues or all the concerns. Certainly there is pressure from landowners, and I can't blame that. I don't want to deny it. I want to work with them. Oh, we have timing. Okay. Thank you. But I do think that there are options that could work here that could really be a win-win-win-win-win for the whole valley as well as for the individual owners. And I'm here to say that I want to work with you to do it. Thank you very much for your time.
Did I see something in the back? John Robert, please.